I guess it didn't give us the countdown.
Nerds and geeks, hold on to your seats. What, Tawala, you're delayed, I think.
Frozen.
Nerds and geeks back at it again. It is the legendary of treats for you.
Okay.
Dude. We got a bunch of shit for you. We've got Mandalorian. We've got The Boys, and we got other stuff.
Tawala's dial-up modem.
King
300 baud.
Tawala Sharp in the building.
Not baud.
Join. Dr. Liz froze. Is he mute?
No, you are my friend.
I'm not frozen.
Oh, so it's just me.
You're frozen.
So it's just me.
Tawala, let it go.
All right.
Let it go.
Go audio.
Turn off your camera, Tawala.
Oh, let me do that. I am going to. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there we go. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so at least we can hear me. All right,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dr. Liz from the freeway. Twitch Master Ryan McBain. How you doing, good sir?
Yay.
Tom is talking Cunningham.
BB.
And my brother from another mother, the one and only Mr. Mo Kelly.
What's upper?
What's upper is we were treated this past weekend to 5 episodes of the series Mandalorian crammed into a on-screen presentation, which they try to call a movie. And it started off pretty good. It started off like, hey, this is the Mandalorian series, and it looks like it was shot for television. It doesn't actually look like it was shot for the big screen, even though it's bigger and it's louder, but it still looked like television quality filming. That aside, I'm not mad at that because I like the series. I just felt like, okay, cool, I'm watching the series on the screen. Started off really good. I said to myself, wow, this intro was really good. And then all of a sudden, there's a bunch of grenades in a fucking AT-AT that for some reason or another, Baby Yoda is all up in arms about and tapping on Mando's head. And I said to myself, I'm sorry. I don't know what the problem is, Baby Yoda. Use your freaking Yoda powers and blow them out the damn air hole because there's a big ass hole in it. No, he couldn't do any of that. He wanted to be cute and tap and say, hey, there's these bombs. And to me, at that point, I said to myself, oh, I know what's about to happen here. We're about to get some solid Mandalorian action mixed in with some, I need to sell the new life-size Grogu animatronic toys that are coming out this Christmas. And I knew that off the top going in from the first 5 minutes before we get the Mandalorian and Grogu and all that. For me, I remember in the end of the series, Grogu was literally by himself after training with Master Luke Skywalker. Grogu was able to hold back the concussive force of an entire base being destroyed. He literally held it back with power unlike any other. Grogu was on some next level Jedi power. So for him to be sitting there struggling with destroying one lone robot that's rolling around in the halls and then to be worried about some grenades, I said to myself, wow, maybe they don't remember that we saw the series and how it ended. But whatever. The film is going along, and I said to myself, okay, it starts off, and then it doesn't really go anywhere for me. I'd say around episode 4 of this on-screen series, which they decided to delve into Grogu land, is about when I fell asleep. I'm going to be honest with you. When they started, right after Mandalorian came out of the man-made hut that Grogu made for some silly reason, that was stupid to me. I said,
and it didn't fit.
I mean, he
It
didn't
did
fit,
not
and that was
fit.
stupid. Just to do it was stupid. But still, whatever. He did it, and it was supposed to be cute. No, I'm caring for him, even though he kept treating you like a freaking pet, telling you to heal. Which I was like, that's an interesting writing choice for you to address your youngling and say heal like it's a dog. But okay, sure, whatever. We're going with it. Still going with this. The whole time I said to myself, this could have been on the Disney. This did not deserve a big screen adaptation at all. Besides all the little things that annoyed me, introducing a hut that had the full Gen X attitude and experience and talk like, some lazy, no good for nothing, spoiled rich kid who I don't want to live my dad's name. I'm gonna make my own man. Fuck out of here. That was whack. But then the film it dissolved into nothingness. And when I took my nap, I woke up and they were running through the halls. Rota the Hut was scurrying through the halls and they were shooting at robots, and then they jumped out of a damn hole that they blew in the wall. X-Wings destroyed the base, and I said to myself, okay, so the villains died somewhere in this melange of madness that was happening. And I said to myself, I don't even care. I asked Mo, I said, Mo, I missed what happened to the bad guys. He said they died in the most stupid way. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I can dig that, because this film was about nothing. This film didn't change the story. This film didn't advance anything. This film didn't take us into another realm of Star Wars. It didn't do anything. This film was just like, hey, we're putting this on the big screen in time for Christmas to sell toys. And I can say I was disappointed because I liked the series. I thought I was going to see more. I saw a lot of the same.
It was just another job for Mando. It was just another job. There weren't any stakes. Sigourney Weaver didn't really matter.
No, nothing mattered. Nothing that they did actually mattered. They may have rooted out some evil huts, but I'm like, aren't the huts just within their criminal empire already?
Well,
evil?
not anymore.
Well, they made
good.
it like they were in league with the Empire.
Yeah.
And they made
now-
it look like that this Mando had to do this mission to stop the rise of the Empire once again, when it had nothing to do with that. There were no stakes. It was a job. Then Mando reneged on the job, and then he's an asshole for reneging on the job, and they were mad at Mando, but it didn't mean anything.
Stuff. Yeah.
It would have been cool on TV.
We sell,
Do you want
merchandise.
I'm not watching any of that. I'm waiting for it to hit Disney Plus. I don't trust Disney Star Wars. They've already broken my heart. We've been over this ad nauseum. Fuck them. I'm gonna wait for it to hit Disney Plus.
Look, it's not that bad.
Okay,
But
Yeah,
you're a casual Star Wars fan. I'm a diehard. It's not gonna work for me.
all I will say is that there were pieces of this film that followed a lot of the standard Star Wars tropes, but they did it in a way unlike The Force Awakens, where they basically tried to entirely recreate every aspect of A New Hope, up to the fact that they had a bigger, better, more destroyery Death Star. So having the choice of giving me big monsters, giving me a pod race / jungle of the Last Jedi
Endor.
race.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you go. Endor. So when you have those sorts of tropes together and you've got starship stuff, you've got the warp factor, hyper speed, all of that. You had all of these little sequences. You had cute little aliens. You had Martin Scorsese for some reason as an alien.
No, we had
Falafel
Martin
stuff.
Scorsese to slap us all in the face because of his nonstop disrespect of nerd and superhero films. For
Well,
him
and-
to then take a major dude, I want to walk out of the effing theater. I was so mad at that.
So all I will say is that I appreciated that it was a more contained story, we know that this is a side quest. We know that it's not going to affect anything that happens in well, I guess the sequels are now non-canon. I guess they exist in another
pretty much, yeah.
they exist in another dimension. So
good. That's good.
And we may see, I don't know if it's going to be a de-aged Mark Hamill, if they're just going to recast the entire trilogy because a trilogy, because obviously none of those actors could pick up the story that is prefaced by the end of The Mandalorian, where you have a youngish Luke Skywalker, ready to go to battle again. So probably recasting makes the most sense. It was a Star Wars movie. And like I say, some people, diehard fans, have a strong appreciation for the franchise. Nothing wrong with the franchise. It's made a lot of people billions and billions of dollars. It's employed a lot of people. It has never been high art. It has never been Lawrence of Arabia or, even a Ryan Coogler film. It's just not these things. It is what it is. It was built as a soapy cowboy space opera, and it has continued being that, and that's fine. And so this one, I felt, I liked it a lot more than Solo. I liked it more, frankly, than the sequels because it wasn't trying to be something that it wasn't. And I trust Jon Favreau. And I think Jon Favreau delivered the characters that he helped create into the phenomenon that they became. And it was, it was fine.
Can I interject one thing?
It could have been on Disney Plus, but it was fine.
To have the TV show be better than the movie really bothers me. To have the TV show, to have the foresight and forethought to drop Luke Skywalker in his prime and have an extended theme with Luke Skywalker told me that they had other characters at their disposal to use. To have this movie and not use someone from the original trilogy like Skywalker, doesn't have to be Luke Skywalker, but to not use Ahsoka, to not tie it in to the larger expanded Disney Plus universe they had already established after all these series and all these years was stupid. Yes, we got a little bit of Rebels in there, but you got to connect it to the cinematic universe because we know that Grogu doesn't exist by episode 4, or he's gone off to some other galaxy or something. To Wallace's point, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't tell us ultimately look, this fucking Grogu still doesn't know how to speak. He's an advanced Jedi who can't speak. You had a Hutt who was speaking English, and the Hutts have never spoken English in any of the movies.
True.
And Grogu can't speak. Grogu is still fucking touching buttons and being told not to.
Right.
To me, that's annoying. And I get that the Grogu is there
he's
for
59 or something.
I mean, I'm saying to me, it's just at this point,
intellect.
It's stupid. It's like I get that Grogu is there for kids and Grogu is there for selling toys and all that. But that's not something I would need to see in a movie. And I thought that because of where we ended the series. In the series, he had a major moment, a life-altering, life-changing moment, a connection with the Force where he fully realized his true power. And we're back to, don't touch that. Don't touch that button. Grogu, what are you doing? Grogu, where are you going? Grogu, you're doing it again. I mean, this type of schlock is like, it's just keep it to the small screen. If you are, and here's the problem is that in large in part, it is not advancing the Star Wars universe. And that shows within the fact that it may be better than Solo, but it sure enough didn't make more money than Solo. And that's a problem. This right now is the lowest opening for a Star Wars film. It is.
But it also cost half of what Solo cost, and it
cost less than what Solo did, only by way of the change in directors, but not the original budget. When you look at what the budgets were for the films, the budgets are comparable. The Solo increase in cost happened because they switched directors mid-film and had to do an entire recut with Ron Howard, what he wanted to do. That's what happened with Solo, and that's what caused the budget to go up.
But I think that that's not fair because the problem is is that people had goodwill going into seeing Star Wars. I mean, people still believed, but people still believed
After The Last Jedi, that's the reason why Solo did
about
so poorly. No, people weren't going in with good intentions. They were pissed.
they had better intentions than going into this.
But let's compare apples to apples. In Solo, they did expand the universe. They did drop in some cameos, and they gave you a better sense of how one thing led to another. In other words, it filled in some blanks in between the movies. This movie exists in its own. It could have been season 2 for all I'm concerned. It could have been right after Luke Skywalker, because it's set in a time where you know it's after the Empire, but it doesn't tell you what happens during that time, big picture. We just know that it's after the fall of the first Death Star. That's all we know. It's relatively soon after that. They're remnants of the Empire.
It's not for Mo, it's not for Tawala, and it is not for Ryan.
No, it is not.
Just a ride for, and I actually had to see it today because of my husband wanted to see it. And my thing is, and he enjoyed it. And I knew he would enjoy it because he's more casual than I am. Like, so it and the movie was packed. And I will say that it is visually pleasing. I saw it in Dolby and I saw it in regular. I think that it is visually pleasing to sit and watch them. I think he did a very good job at the flight scenes. That's what I like the most. The visual pleasing and making me feel like I was in the cockpit and flying around. I thought that was really cool. I love the music choice. And that's all I got. I don't understand, but the kids in my movie today went bananas, and the people, every time they saw Grogu on stage, on thing. I mean, he's now more popular in my opinion than the Mandalorian. Like, people were laughing every little second about every little thing he did. You're hearing the laughter, you're hearing the ahs, you're hearing I mean, that is what Star Wars has now been reduced to.
And everything you're saying, Dr. Liz, is exactly why the Star Wars franchise is not going to go anywhere. You've totally abandoned your base. Got that. You've abandoned the base. They were absolutely trying to do that with the way that they mistreated and bastardized the reunion that we should have had. We should have had a reunion with the Rey series, and we didn't get that. And so you not only screw us with that, then you give us some hints of greatness, some hints of greatness with the Mandalorian. There were some moments in the Mandalorian that were like, oh my God, if you don't get this little thing off the screen, because we wanted to see the Mandalorian kicking ass, and we saw the Mandalorian punching people. You know, he shot nameless stormtroopers, but when it really came down to it, he was a much more tame Mandalorian. He was beating people up. There was no killing of people, he was killing creatures and he was shooting stormtroopers. That's kind of like, man, dude, what kind of a bounty hunter are you? I thought you're supposed to be bloodthirsty and going after. No, he was more like, it was more like, well, I don't want to do it because I got the kid with me and I don't want the kid to see this violence or something. No.
He was getting his ass handled a lot too.
And he was getting beat up a lot. They did the whole thing with the removing the helmet again, and we've already established that that's a tribal thing within the Mandalorians. Also, why they keep calling him Mando. That's weird because all the other Mandalorians have names. Bo-Katan has an actual name. She is a Mandalorian. Her name is Bo-Katan. So why does he keep getting called Mando? Like that's
because it's for the casuals, I guess. That's why.
But yeah, sure. Yep. That has to be it because
this is for the kids. I saw so many toys going inside of the theater. Not everybody, but a great deal of people are coming to the theater with their Grogu toys.
See,
Um,
McBain.
I have so many problems with the movie, but I'm
fuck
gonna.
them
I don't want
kids.
to I don't want to nitpick, but I'm going to say
nitpick.
that
Do it.
this is what it's for.
Okay. All I will say is there were lots of people, which I would say are probably either millennials or Gen Zers, in a lot of Star Wars crap. So, you know, I don't have a strong enough opinion about, you know, loyalty, fealty to the original vision, whatever. Because let's be clear, by Return of the Jedi, all them damn Ewoks were a bajillion Grogus. And try to say I'm lying. He had already jumped the shark into commercialism by the time we got to Return of the Jedi. You had Star Wars, which was fresh and light and new. You had Empire Strikes Back, which was epic and dramatic and dark. Weren't selling no Empire toys.
Yep,
and then you picked it all up. And ever since, you've had fuzzy little cutesy little things that help to drive merchandise. And so whatever, do your thing. This is commerce. It's never been high art. And so I can understand. I don't feel that we learned as much in, you know, a backstory or news story in Solo as we did in Rogue One. Rogue One answered the existential question of why was it so easy for them to blow up this big ass thing. And here's another parallel. You even had that same scanner targeting the palace. You had the exact same shit. So to me, Rogue One gave us a lot of backstory. Solo gave us Don Glover as Calrissian. That's all you got. That was, who cares about Daenerys Targaryen, who never appeared after because Solo was such a failure? Nobody cared about any of that stuff. I thought Glover was great. I thought he was a good. And, you got the parsec joke. That's what you got. That was the only loose end they tied up. The parsec.
No, they also gave you the
stupid
arms. Why Chewie would rip off people's arms. They explained that. They explained tidbits of the universe, and you also got Maul.
Glover was good.
But Solo is not a watchable film, a rewatchable.
Glover was
it
okay.
is a one and done.
But Billy D. Williams, man, you're trying to be Billy D. Williams. You can't. You can't capture that smoothness of Billy D.
We have to, moving past all that, though, moving past Solo, where we were right now with Star Wars, where we are right now, after those failed films, they decided to go hard in the paint on the app, which is why they gave us Mandalorian, which created this fervor and this renewed interest in Star Wars. The interest in Star Wars wasn't because of the prequels. The renewed interest in fandom is because of the Mandalorian and Grogu. And then shit got real when you gave us Andor. When you gave us Andor, it was like, oh, so you can tell stories for adults. You actually have the ability to do it. And though they may have ended on a light note with the Mandalorian, they still kept that series pretty gritty. Even though they had those little cute Grogu moments, but he was still taking folks out. He was taking them out. And then you had Ahsoka, which was just straight drama. Now the Acolyte, they tried to go there, and the Acolyte was just a stupid story. But the violence in the Acolyte, the violence was great. They were taking out Jedi in fantastic ways. So they were trying to set a tone with where they were going. They were trying to set a tone.
I hate to say this, but what the app is really doing is trying to get you all get what is the pulse of the community, and the pulse of the community is Grogu, or whatever you pronounce his name. He's selling merchandise. He's popular. He's likable, and he's getting butts in seats.
They had the pulse. Okay, they had my pulse up, and in Mandalorian season finale of season 2, when you see Luke Skywalker, I was like, oh my god, I had never been so happy for. I just like, and I was saying to myself, okay, you might have me coming back to Star Wars, and then ever since then, it's been a downhill. It's been downhill ever since then.
Yeah,
there
but they
were
took
no
they
wow
took
moments in
and
this film.
nobody is going to, I don't want to say nobody, but it's not going to be enough people to come see Andor or some derivative on screen. At the moment, the buzz is all about this little green character. And so, like, for example, if it was about the Mandalorian, then it would have just been named the Mandalorian. I have little gripes. Like, why do we have there's a lot of things that I think some of these are some wasted characters. And like, you have such a legendary actress in the film. Why?
That could have been anybody.
Anybody.
That could have been anybody. That did not have to be
I
Sigourney
mean,
Weaver.
Martin Scorsese didn't need to be in it either.
He
But
did not. No, true.
we've been shit talking about this movie that you all don't care about or like for 26 minutes.
I don't
Can we
dislike.
Can we segue into the next thing?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we
I don't
can.
dislike. It's not bad.
We can segue
For casuals,
into The Boys. WTF, man. WTF. WTF, The Boys. Like, seriously, The Boys gave me an ending a la Game of Thrones, a la Sopranos,
It wasn't that bad.
everything.
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
Everything that I
It
don't
wasn't
like
that
about
bad.
everything.
It wasn't.
It was.
So,
No. It was.
Let me just
It was.
let me just do some level setting. In the comic book, Homelander gets taken out almost exactly like he was taken out in the show, with a crowbar to the head. Now, granted,
That doesn't bother me.
huh?
That doesn't bother me. It's not how
No.
you
I'm doing some
Here.
level setting. Also, Butcher gets killed by Huey
Yes.
with a different weapon, but in a very similar circumstance, not about the compound V or anything like that. It was, Butcher was just an irredeemable asshole. And so there was that. So a lot of stuff had changed well before we got to season 5, period. But as far as a resolution, I know that there's a contingency of folks, because of the dark tone, kind of envisioned Homelander actually coming out on top, maybe. Or they wanted a really bleak ending where Homelander actually does, just start mass murdering people.
Who wanted that?
There are people. Oh, trust. There are people out there. There's a whole AI thing of the ending to The Boys that the fans really wanted, and it's basically Homelander destroying everyone and killing everyone. So there was an audience for that. I, on the other hand, wanted Joffrey Baratheon dead, and I wanted it to be bloody, and I wanted it to be shameful, and I didn't anticipate that it would be televised, but I was completely fine with it. My biggest gripes with the finale are that you completely played Marie Moreau way off to the side. That was just really stupid. She's the only person who straight up killed a V1 soup under her own power. She's the only person to do it in The Boys or in Gen V. And she killed one of the most powerful soups, a soup who, were he alive, could absolutely control Homelander, because that was his power, to absolutely control people. And so
the problem with that is that you built up 2 seasons of a great show, which brought in a whole new audience to the show. You forced us to watch Gen V, and then what you do, you have a crew with 2 humans, 3 humans, or no, 2 humans by the time we got to end. Starlighter, who wasn't shit, and then Kimiko.
No, it was still 3. It was Huey and Mother's Milk and Frenchie.
Oh, and no, Butcher had his power still.
Frenchie is not Butcher.
No. By the time we get to where Gen V is there, Frenchie's dead. You just had Huey, you had Mother's Milk, Starlighter, and Butcher. Yeah. And what you do is you tell the 2 most powerful people that you have contact with. You get you get Marie Moreau, and you get the trans superhero, and you tell both of them, hey, here's what we need you 2 to do. Even though both of you are more powerful than Starlighter, really and truly, both of you are more powerful than damn Butcher. What we want you to do, we want you to get into a van and drive to Canada. because that's what we're going to do to everyone who watched Gen V. We're going to give you nothing. And then we're going to give you a death of Butcher, which was fine. I'm not mad at the death of Butcher. My anger comes from the fact that it didn't end there. You had to give us 20 more minutes of nothing where they tra-la-la-la-la into just, hey, it's all good. I'm eating croissants in France. We're raising a baby in a computer store, and for some reason or other, Butcher or Mother's Milk is raising Homelander's kid. Where that connection came from, who knows? Because they didn't know each other while he was growing up. Ryan and Mother's Milk weren't connected. That type of shit was stupid.
The connection was that Soldier Boy killed Mother's Milk's family, and Ryan is Soldier Boy's grandson, and he hated Homelander, so it was just like he was the only father figure in the group. And
now he's Ryan's Milk. Now that's his name.
Ryan's Milk. Ryan Milk is crazy.
The Ryan's Milk ending is bad. All of those.
I didn't say it was good. I thought you just said there was no connection. I was just outlining the connection. Listen. It was not. Game of Thrones was awful because we had all of those seasons of Daenerys Targaryen being the princess and the queen of the poor and oppressed. And because her tight girlfriend got killed, she just went apeshit and burned all of King's Landing. And nobody wanted that. Everybody wanted her and Jon Snow to be together and be king and queen on the thing. That's all anybody wanted of Game of Thrones.
To be fair, though, Tom, she was fine, though. I mean,
I didn't say she wasn't fine. She was crazy as hell. And nobody wanted that shit. So, and then even with Stranger Things, I didn't have as many problems with Stranger Things as a lot of people did on the finale. But what I will say is them defeating that humongous creature on its own territory, just the 8 of them, with one person who had superpowers, that was some bullshit. And that's
equitable to you sending Marie Moreau off to La La Land in Canada.
Be an Uber driver, yeah. Okay.
I don't know what I am under the impression, because this is what the guy said, the creator said, that we are going to see these characters in Vought Rising, which means maybe there's going to be some time jumping, or they're going to kind of like split the story, have every other episode be in the same time zone, and you're also going to continue to tell the story. It was a missed opportunity. It was a damn shame. You should have had her. She didn't need to be the person to kill him. But when you need to protect Kimiko because she's the blaster.
Yep.
You need to restrain Homelander. And that's what Butcher was there for. And then eventually Ryan was there for it as well. You could have used Marie Moreau.
Yes.
Yes.
You just could have, and you should have. Period. She didn't have to be the person but you needed as many bodies as you could in that room.
I have a question.
Yes.
What was going to Canada supposed to do? How was that supposed to protect them if the virus was let loose? It, in theory, would have killed soups all around the world.
Yes.
Not only that, Homelander does not respect borders. It's not like going to Canada was going to save those people.
They were
not
Canada
believers
to take those people with them. It had nothing to do with the virus or anything, and they didn't really know the Butcher was going to use that anyway. I mean, they weren't going to Canada to go, oh, you need to get to Canada because the virus is out there. They were taking those people to Canada to save those people.
They were in Canada, or them being on that barn where they were. It doesn't matter. If Butcher wanted to find them, he had the Sykes to find them. Going to Canada didn't mean anything. That's not going to protect those people, and it was a stupid waste of a story setup. If the ending of a show is bad, for me, the whole show is bad because everything led up to a bad ending. So it left a bad taste in my mouth. So for me, it's a bad show because of that.
I guess from one perspective, and this is the only, because they didn't articulate it, and I'm not a big advocate of putting script into creators' keyboards. You could make an argument that Marie was a failsafe, and that if the mission wasn't successful, then you had Marie as a potential backup. Now, That doesn't make as much sense as using her full capabilities and trying to bring the mission to a head. But
at least say that then.
No.
You know?
Because I don't think they knew her. I don't think they knew her full potential. I think that was kind of like just in the Gen V universe that she was.
But the two people that you, I mean, at first it was just one, and then it was two that you had from Gen V, all of whom had been fully manipulated by Marie and were in the room when she killed Godolphin. That was just the writers deciding they didn't want to deal with it because they let Starlight say that bullshit. And Marie said, how many V1 soups have you killed, bitch?
Yeah.
Or just hold up her hand and rack Starlight with pain. So they just chose they didn't want her on the board. And so they moved her off the board. At the end of the day, if Homelander had survived and won, yes, it would have clearly been a miscalculation. But you got Ryan helping, you got Butcher helping, and ultimately he got depowered. And after he got depowered, because this is what we were waiting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what we were waiting for. With him first squinting and realizing that the lasers weren't coming out.
Oh, man. And that smirk. That smirk that Butcher gave him.
Got your ass. And then he did that stupid ass launch thing.
It's hilarious.
And it just didn't work. And he was like, oh, damn. And then as he was getting his ass beat, you see the many layers of degradation that Homelander experiences.
Oh, God.
First, it's like, I'll make somebody look like Becca. I'll give you control of Vought. I'll make somebody look like Becca. And then about 6, 7, 2 pieces to the face when he's on the floor. Man, I'll suck your D. I'll eat shit. I was like, yeah. I was completely here for it. I'm sorry.
I got two things.
On this one.
Two things, okay. That one is kind of a question. So during the death of Butcher, Huey finds out what Butcher's going to do. So Huey goes by himself, which is kind of weird. He doesn't tell anybody else. He just goes there by himself. Butcher's waiting for him. Okay, I'm like, okay, you could have used the virus in there, but then he explains it as I have to wait for the other soups to get into the building. Okay. So then Huey gets his ass beat by Butcher, which was hilarious because I hate fucking Huey. And Butcher has the trigger or whatever, and he's about to use it, and then he sees his brother, which makes no sense because it's just a trigger for the virus. It's not a gun or anything. So then I'm saying to myself, okay, well, you could have pulled the trigger anytime. You didn't have to wait for him to even get there. Why are you doing that? That kind of like, I was very confused by the whole situation there. I mean, why did he wait?
Well, so there's the prevailing theory is that Butcher was a dichotomy. His tenderness and love for Becca and Ryan before he found out that Ryan was a soup and then possibly, a weapon. And then his hard edge side. And that he really was struggling with whether or not he wanted to do it. And Huey was his conscience. And it wasn't so much that he was aiming a gun at Huey's head, but when he looked at what he had done to Huey, it echoed how he beat his brother on his father's behalf. And it made him realize, look what you're doing. And he had the reflection, oh, look, he looks just like your brother. And so the audience is brought back into that. So it was just like, he didn't he was trying to decide if he wanted to do it. And Huey's intensity of trying to protect these people so that these people wouldn't die finally held him off and gave Huey the opportunity to end it, which is very similar to how things work in the comic books. So,
okay. There's still a buildup here. Go ahead, Ryan.
My last thing, and this is going to shock you guys. Okay. I understand that Homelander had to die. I'm glad that he died. And I was laughing when he was trying to use his powers and he couldn't use it. Laughing my ass off. When Butcher was beating the hell out of him and he fell down and Homelander started crying like a child. I was like, this is funny. When he was saying, okay, I'll give you Vought. I'll bring back Becca. And I'll suck your dick. I'm like, that's all funny. Yeah, What made me get really serious and kind of scratch my head because I had some weird emotion is when he said, "How many times could I have killed you and I didn't? You owe me." And then I realized, okay, you're beating a child. Hear me out, because as soon as he lost his powers, he couldn't hide the fact that he was just emotionally and psychologically a child.
Mm-hmm. I agree
So
with that.
this is why I think Anthony Starr is so great, and that's why I prefer him being Homelander rather than the actor who played Reacher, even though Reacher looks more like Homelander. Anthony Starr made me feel a little bit of pity. A little bit. For a split second, I felt sorry for Homelander, and I felt mad because of it. I was like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to feel bad for you. You need to fucking die. And I've never felt that way about a villain who's a complete piece of shit, to make me feel an ounce of pity for him. And I still feel weird about it. I still hear Homelander's like him talking like a child. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he was saying it. He sounded like a child. And it just, I had some weird form of empathy for it. And it bothers me. So fuck you, Anthony Starr.
Okay, let me say this. I think for any series finale, it has to do as good a job as possible to tie up as many loose ends as they can. But this one just gave us more. We know that Queen Maeve was out there somewhere. We know that Polarity and the Gen V kids were out there somewhere. We didn't get any closure in that regard. I would have liked to have figured out what the hell how Ryan ended up with Mother's Milk. I know we've talked about it, but you have to explain that to me, because there was no connection there, and it just didn't make sense. It made sense. I need them to bring the story to a close, and they didn't do that. They killed Homelander, but they didn't tie up all the threads which led up to that. Why the fuck is Soldier Boy sitting on ice somewhere and we don't know why or what happened to him? How is it Stan Edgar gets back in control of Vought, given how Vought is responsible for Homelander and all the shit that happened that led to the death of the president and destruction of the White House, and Stan Edgar is running the company that is not being sued into non-existence? I mean, you got to explain some of that. You just can't have him pop up, make a speech, and then run off the screen. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, stuff like that is whack.
And Ashley getting kicked out was pretty funny too, because there's no way in hell that the Democrats and the Republicans would agree 100% on anything. So that was kind of funny.
I don't know about that. There have been a lot of things. Oh, because of all the things that had happened with the soups, when Victoria was blowing up motherfuckers' heads left and right, when the president gets killed, it's like, no. They were fine when Vought was paying the bills, helping them get reelected, and Vought was popular. When Homelander kills the president and flew a billionaire up into space,
Elon Musk, yes,
they were like, nah, we're good.
Which to me, that goes back to how is Stan Edgar in a press conference talking about, hey, look, Vought has had a very checkered past. I am back in charge, and we're going to be a brand new Vought?
Well,
wow.
what he said first was that he had been imprisoned by Homelander. So he was throwing all of these decisions and all of these consequences that changed the perception of what Vought was. Remember, before The Boys, Vought was Disney plus Amazon plus Best Buy plus CNN. They were everything to everyone. And when the soups were TV stars and movie stars, there was not a problem. It was only when we kick off with the first season of The Boys, when we see that Homelander has this crisis and he's actually becoming more psychotic and twisted and all of these other things. Most of these things were behind the scenes. And by the time we get to season 5 and Homelander had basically scared half the population, people were willing to believe anything. They showed a video of him killing people on the plane and they said it was AI. And some people bought it. So I think that Stan Edgar, who is human, purely human, had been incarcerated and survived Homelander, and he was a stable, trustworthy-ish looking person, because you can't, Vought is too big to fail. So it can't fail. And so you send it off into the sunset. Now, to your point, Mo, if they hadn't already decided that they were continuing the story of the universe of the boys, I would agree that they needed to tie up this series in a finale that was more satisfying, that closes chapters on more things. But it's pretty clear that if Vought Rising does reasonable numbers, better than Gen V numbers, then they're going to try to keep this going. I don't see how going back into America's proto-fascist past around World War II is a big selling point. We've already seen, it's hard to imagine that the V1 superheroes are going to be more depraved than what we saw in their grandchildren. So I just don't buy it. It's the Agent Carter problem.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of racism in that show. It's gonna be a lot of racism.
Absolutely. And so I just don't. We will see. I am much more interested in seeing what they are able to do with Gen V, but again, without an existential threat like Homelander, I don't know. It turns into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or a superpowered procedural, and I don't think anybody wants to see that either. So it'll be interesting to see what they try to do.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They have not left a lot of goodwill with those who watched it, especially you in on such a disappointing note. Resoundingly, most fan reviews are like, nah, man, this wasn't it. And then you're gonna give us, a blast to Vaught's or the Soup's ultra racist past. Nah, that's like, I don't know if that's gonna be enough to draw people back in. I mean, look, I will probably just wait for your review of that prequel series, Tom, because I'm not going back in. I'm just like, there's no reason for me to go back in for more of the same. I'm like, I got it. Like, to me, I see that you all don't know how to stick the landing. And so why would I invest into another show, a spinoff show, which arguably is going to give me some more non-consequential Gen V shit? Really? I mean, because if Gen V didn't go anywhere, there's no reason for me to believe that this prequel series is going to actually go anywhere, especially when we know how it all ends.
Yeah, there was no point in watching Gen V.
This is a prequel that's like, we know how this story ends. What are we going to learn from the prequel?
I mean, I guess you get the callbacks of some of the jokes. You get to see Soldier Boy fucking Stormfront or something like that. But I mean,
and
there's a rumor. Yeah, and there's a rumor that Stormfront is actually Homelander's mother, which would be disgusting, but there's a rumor going on that that's the case.
That would make sense, because when Soldier Boy figured out that Homelander was hitting Stormfront, I remember he gave him this look like, really? And it was like a knowing glance.
It's certainly not like that in the comics, because Stormfront was a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, Soldier Boy wasn't his dad in the comics either.
Oh, snap. Okay.
So they changed a whole lot. And yes, they do imply that Clara is the mother, but I wonder if it was more like an in vitro thing where they took some Soldier Boy sperm and they took an ovum from her.
Yeah, they did. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Okay.
And so they did a bunch of experiments and finally got a Homelander out of it.
But yeah,
so.
I'm hoping for a time jump in Vought Rising, because like if it just stays in that time period, we're gonna hear racial slurs that we haven't heard since 1911 or some shit like that. It's gonna be some fucking weird like, damn, who the hell talks like that anymore? Like,
you will hear it, McBain. You will hear it. I will not, because I don't need to see that.
Tom
what
and
else
I
have
will
we seen, though?
Tom and I will both suffer for all of you. Okay.
I mean, it's 2027, so we've got a while.
We've got some time. Fantastic. What else we watching? What's on your screen, Dr. Liz?
Well,
Apple Plus.
Since you mentioned it.
Yes.
I did watch Widow's Bay, and it is still, the season's not over. And when I tell you I am hooked, It is a combination. Well, I don't know what it's like. I can't even help you, but I will say that the people who did Parks and Rec is the same writers of this, but throw a little suspense and horror in it, and so you're laughing, you're jump scare. So and it has like very dry humor, so that's really interesting. And also on Netflix, there's for those of you who like Stranger Things, there is a senior version called The Burrows. And I actually didn't think that I would like it as much as I did. It's very dry humor once again, but I thought it was very interesting. I think the ending is very satisfying. I'm curious to see if they would come out with a season 2. They don't need to for me, but I'd watch a season 2. So, those are my 2 little things, but I did watch the other things at the movies. By the way, I do think that my conspiracy theory that I did not share with you guys last week is I do think that there is some embezzlement, money laundering going on when it comes to some of these movies that are in the theaters, like In the Gray.
You'll have to explain that to folks because maybe not everyone understands that.
Because
because nobody saw it, so you definitely have to
nobody nobody sees it's not just that, it's another one, Deep Water. So if you're watching these films, as soon as they come on, it's like a bazillion, I wouldn't say a bazillion, I'll say about 4 to 6 international investors in these films.
Yep.
And it really makes, and then there's no justification as to why they're in theaters. I can name some stuff that's online on Netflix, Apple TV that could be in theaters that's better quality, even though it's still good for streaming. There's no reason why these things are in theaters at all.
In the Gray
Except
definitely should have been on streaming. That's a streaming movie, and it wouldn't even be a good streaming movie.
it isn't, because there's no middle, there's no beginning, and there's no end.
Yeah,
And
it just
and it's
happens.
copied off of every other movie that you
Guy
have
Ritchie
ever
movie.
Seen.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean it's
It's not Guy Ritchie
copy
at his
and
best,
paste.
though.
And then also Deep Water, I was more offended at Deep Water than In the Gray, because Deep Water is like a terrible Jaws movie. It is a terrible Jaws that is in the middle of, it's about a plane that gets put down in the China Sea. First of all, the plane is literally falling apart anyway. You shouldn't have got on the plane in the first place. It falls apart. And it is terrible acting, even though I do like some of the characters, as in I like him from the Lincoln Lawyer. One of the guys is from Lincoln Lawyer. I like him as a character, but that's not the point. He was terrible acting in this. And oh my gosh, it was
Just, oh my God.
Jaws was, I mean, because in my mind, it is 2026. You can make Jaws look better than what it looks like. It was 1984. Like Jaws 2.
Liz, it's worse than that because the director is the same director who did Deep Blue Sea. So you would think that director would have had a better understanding of how to do just a shark movie, and to regress 20 years later just doesn't make any sense. But I wanted you to explain the whole idea of how the money laundering works, because not everyone may not understand how the business works. If you won't, I will.
You go for it. Because I believe it. I don't believe that they're serious films. I believe that people need to put this on the IDM. They're just throwing money out, and they anticipate a loss, because this is insane.
If you have like a $50 million budget, that money has to go somewhere. They're spending that $50 million knowing good and damn well that they probably won't get any return on that investment. So they may pay the director $5 million. They may pay the actors $15 million, but the rest is quote unquote marketing and promotion, which kind of just goes out into the ether. And you really don't know where that money goes, and it's just pocketed, and the studio just writes it off as a loss. But people go home with millions and millions of dollars in their pocket for a project they knew was going to fail.
Because that deep water is, I could have done that in my, I mean, it's Sharknado bad in the sense of that the sharks look that bad. Like you could tell they're rubber. Like it's that terrible of a shark.
Not rubber suit sharks.
Okay.
No.
Right.
But
Look,
anyway.
I feel you. I feel you because in the gray. What you checking out, Mo?
Just saw Jack Ryan, and I know Tom saw Jack Ryan. I'm gonna be down and dirty. I'm not a big Krasinski fan. He's not funny to me when he was on TV. He doesn't have the charisma for me as an action hero on the big screen. I don't care if he's Reed Richards. I don't care if he's Jack Ryan. Specifically, though, with Jack Ryan, if you know the character, he's a CIA analyst. He's a nerd. He sits behind the desk, and he's been thrown into the field, and he really doesn't know what he's doing. I thought Ben Affleck played that role pretty well, even though the movies were not that good. He played the role, I thought, truer to form than even Harrison Ford. And I liked Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan. I just don't like John Krasinski as Jack Ryan. I mean, he is way too capable as a quote unquote field agent for someone who had woefully inadequate training, and he's hanging with the best of the best in the world. That just rang untrue to me. The movie was fine. I enjoyed Wendell Pierce. I always enjoyed him on screen, and I enjoyed that they expanded the backstory of Greer and how they made it about him in this movie and less about Jack. That's one thing I did like. I just don't buy Krasinski as a Jack Ryan. Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, the only thing I would say is that I think it's either his third or fourth bite at the apple as the character. And it's kind of impossible to divorce the many other depictions of the Jack Ryan character. So it's kind of cumulative. It's like, well, yes, this was the first time Daniel Craig was James Bond, but James Bond has been James Bond for 60 years. And so, even though it's our first time seeing him, he's tight and he's wound and he's active and all of this. So over the ensuing crises that the Krasinski Ryan has prevailed over, he shot people. He wasn't a hand-to-hand combatant. He shot people. And Greer actually did quite impressive driving in London, in addition to having the steering wheel on the opposite side of where he usually is. He really knew how to get around. And so that was really cool. I agree. It was kind of a Sam Jackson as Nick Fury moment in that thing. So I agree. It was a wise decision to focus on Greer. You got rid of what I felt was a slightly unbelievable line of succession at the CIA as of the last movie. So you kind of tidied that up, and you had yes, correctly. And you had an antagonist who was icy cold and efficient, and you could believe that he's a pretty stock Bond villain type guy.
He was really good in Hijack the first season too.
He was good in Hijacked as well, and he's done a bunch of. Well, he was in both seasons of Hijack, but he's done a bunch of these kind of very taciturn Brits who's either the great cop or a solid villain type person. So that was good. You had Naomi Watts in there, bringing a little extra star power and no sexual chemistry. They wisely chose to keep away from that. But again, I've liked it when Jack saved the world the last two times, so I was willing to go with it on this time as well. And like I said, he's not a hand-to-hand combatant. He was shooting, and he was, as an analyst, he got the clue, the big clue, and he was running the op, juggling between Greer and the computer hacker dude. And so, as far as that goes, I bought that. He's a smart guy. He was always preternaturally smart with super insight. And so I bought it. I was fine with it. I saw I Love Boosters, and all I will say about that is if you are not a fan of the very heavy-handed socio-political template that Boots lays over his features, and you are completely down for a gonzo movie experience that is absurdist, but also very political. It's a bright movie. Keke Palmer is really good. Keke Palmer is a great actor. I enjoy her work. And you had a couple of other sisters. The chick from Zora was in there. And what is the girl from Blink Twice was also a co-star. And it's just, I don't know if Boots Riley's movies are for me. It's very
it just breaks down to that. Yeah. Okay.
I will, but what I will say for Ryan's part, it is the most dramatic depiction of cunnilingus I have ever seen committed to film.
Excuse me?
That's fair.
Why am I bringing me? What?
Wait, so there was some munching on the muffin?
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
And if you saw Sorry to Bother You, where it completely went off the rails in the third act, with the mutagenic cocaine and what happens with the mutagenic cocaine, this was similar. I was like, oh, okay, we're getting it in the first act this time. Okay.
It's so absurd. It is so hilarious though. I laughed a lot. How about the soundtrack though, Tom? Like I love the music throughout the entire film.
No, the music was solid and there were laughs. I'm not saying there weren't laughs, but there's like, this was like Spike Jonze on steroids.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's what it was. There are some absurdist things like being John Malkovich is absurdist, right? Yeah. But it sticks within the rules. It walks you up to the rules to explain the rules to you, and then you follow those rules. He just didn't have any rules. He was just like, I'm changing shit. I'm changing shit. I'm changing shit. And he just kept doing it until the third act. Actually, there was a reveal in the third act that was completely out of the blue. So I don't know. Go see it if you want to see it.
I mean, he's all over social media trying to get people to see his movie. Look, it is so outlandish. I mean, there are moments I audibly was like, what is this?
It's a lot. But
yeah, it's fair.
And I would say, I don't know if I talked about this on one of the shows. If you have an opportunity to see Tuner,
I heard that's
can't find that.
Tuner, it's good. I saw it sight unseen. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of, if you see it as a fable or a fairy tale, it's easier to buy because there's certainly some shit that happens in that movie.
Well, where can you see it now?
Well, I saw it in AMC, but
it's playing all over now.
No, it's not.
It just got released this week. It's only in 4 theaters this week.
Yeah.
It goes wide on the 29th.
Oh, okay. I got it.
But I saw it in a sight unseen. So
for those who don't know, that's about the guy with the perfect pitch,
right?
Hearing,
the hearing aid, yeah.
Pianos, and
it's not hearing aids. Those are actually they're noise dampeners.
Dampeners, got it. Okay. So
that you should see it. It's definitely worth watching. It's a small film. Dustin Hoffman is Dustin Hoffmaning all over the place. It's a very enjoyable movie. Not something that must be seen on the big screen by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a much better film than In the Gray and released by the same company.
Oh, here we are.
What about you, McBain? What you watching?
I finally finished the Mall series, which I liked a lot. But my only critique is they really need to make up their mind with Vader's power set. Is he weak? Is he strong? Because I saw him fight a Sith and 2 Jedi at the same time and hold his own and still getting that ass. I'm like, okay, well, where was this Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? I mean, the show's great, but like they need to find someone who knows Vader's power set. But other than that, I guess there's going to be a season 2. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was good.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah, but it was more for me, Liz, not for you.
No, but I'm saying it's Star Wars lives in the inconsistency. Like it is consistent
Loki,
at inconsistency.
Mace Windu in the animated series was more boss than he ever was live action. His one solo episode where he destroyed that earthquake machine, he was that at
an entire fleet of droids. Yes.
Palpatine, my ass. He would have whipped the shit out of Palpatine.
That he did. He beat him.
He did beat him, and then Anakin
beat him
off.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Very dope. Very dope. I finally did see Mortal Kombat 2. Liked it a lot. I liked it a lot because it was just a fun. Every single thing that I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be bloody. I thought it was going to be an outlandish story. I thought the dialogue was going to be intentionally just like that B movie dialogue. I mean, it was all that. The violence was violent. I heard "get over here." I heard "finish them." I saw the characters use their powers in the film. I mean, So I said to myself, "This is a fun movie. It's what I would expect from a Mortal Kombat movie." And they improved on how they told the story from the last run. This time they just said, "Here's what we're going to do. We are going to set a tone where it's like the world is going to come to an end if these fights aren't fought and the good guys don't win, and that's it. And then the good guys fight, and some of the good guys, they died in really bad ways. And I was like, oh shit, like you're killing people for real, for real."
You had no problem with Carl Urban playing Johnny Cage.
Nah, because and for me, going into it, from everything that I know about Johnny Cage, and this is just even from watching the animated series. If you ever get an opportunity to watch the animated films on, they're on the Warner app,
HBO.
But they have at least 2 different animated films with Johnny Cage, and he's one of the films where he's still Johnny Cage, and he's kind of like doing this because he wants to prove himself, and then another one where it's kind of like, well, he used to be Johnny Cage and he's still trying to get there. For me, this depiction of Johnny Cage, it fit what Carl Urban was doing. It's like everything I've read from that. I've never played the games, but from the animated series, this is what I expect from Johnny Cage. So like an old washed up, wannabe who's kind of just getting that reason to do what he does.
I have to, and they fucked up Baraka, and they turned him into a fool. Yeah. Ryan, the game. Talk about that.
Yeah. So Baraka's a badass. He's a psychopath. He's not like a buddy. I know they've turned him into like some.
They turned him into Drax in Mortal Kombat 2.
Some buddy cop thing with Johnny Cage.
That's fair.
But I've seen some scenes because I've been trying to get like a bootleg copy. Yes, I am trying to do that. I've seen some scenes of, and what I've seen,
I might be able to help you with that.
Okay, I've seen some scenes, and I'm like, you know what? It's all right. It's all right. It's a lot better than the first movie from what I've seen. So I might have to check this out.
Wait, the first is in like 1990s or the more recent iteration?
No, he's talking about
one. More recent one.
Yeah, because I like the 1995 one.
Oh, same here. It's nostalgia, baby. And the fights were spectacular in the 1995 movie.
Yeah, it's better. Look, this film is not going to win anything but a Razzie. All right, so
I don't think it's that bad.
No.
To win a Razzie.
Again, I mean, for me, this isn't gonna. I mean, maybe an MTV award if they still do that, but this is not a film that's made for awards. It's not a highbrow drama. This isn't Shakespeare in the Park. This is a video game put on the screen. They said, let's make it rated R so we can cut folks in half. We can say the word fuck a lot. and we can put hammers through people's throats, and it was great. It was gruesome. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it didn't make any money.
No.
Now, to me,
To
it looks
Liz's
like
point, this may be a laundering.
okay. To me, it looks like a movie that's so bad it's good, which is I'm cool with that.
Hey, yeah, you know what, McBain? Yeah. It's like one of those like, oh man, this is
I
is
played
so
the video game,
ridiculous.
so
I like it.
This is for me. I mean, I played the game. I know what's going on. I know that like Sub-Zero is not really Sub-Zero in the movie. He's Noob Saibot, which is a different character in the game. I know all the little stuff. So this is for me.
That's not true. There is a Sub-Zero, but the Noob Saibot are like shadows of Sub-Zero. So it is Sub-Zero.
So it doesn't bother you that the whole movie looks like it was done in the 90s?
No, not at all.
No.
No, that's
Well,
automatically.
I don't think it looks that way, but it did make more than the 2021 movie.
That's not difficult.
But that was also during COVID.
So Tom, they called that character in the movie actually Sub-Zero, or
yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
And they don't name Noob Saibot.
Interesting.
There's a lot of
because they have to he's resurrected. So yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Sub-Zero.
Ryan, you're not gonna dislike the movie.
No, you're not.
No, I'm sure I'm not, but it's just like
I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, the first movie, I hated the first fucking movie.
That's why I think you don't like the second one.
The reason why, Mo, he's gonna like it is because the things that he disliked about the first one, this one does do. There are competitions. So I think that he's off rep. He's gonna like it.
Competitions, Mortal Kombat, baby.
Yeah.
No, I know. And this one, it's like they stick to. I felt like I was watching someone play a video game. Like, okay, it's in story mode. All of a sudden, two people disappear, and then they end up somewhere else, and then they fight to the death. That's what it was all about.
It just looks so antiquated.
Yeah,
it does feel like a money laundering scheme the more you think about it, because I think they did some cuts on some of the budget for making to make this look a little bit like in the 2000s.
To me, it could look old. It's fine.
I will say this as well.
Exactly, money laundering.
From what I've seen, how they shoot it, like both characters are looking at each other and then they pan away, and right before they're about to fight, like that's just like the video game. I'm like, okay, dude, somebody gets it. I mean, okay. I mean, so I'm going in expecting some like just like ridiculousness. I'm like, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, he been playing the game since the game first game. From stand-up arcade, to got to the house, and he's been playing thing. He said, and he was like, he's like, bro, like this is a movie that was made for people who play the video game, because it's just, it's not a big departure from the game. This one here, he said the last one, like he absolutely hated it because they try to turn a story. They try to make a movie out of something that, it didn't need all that. You just needed people to fight and die and make something about that and try to make this weird story.
I'm curious what y'all going to think about Street Fighter, because this is going to be another one of these.
Street Fighter was silly in the game formulation.
Yeah.
Over the top. So the movie, I expected to be the exact same way. Mortal Kombat was a little more serious, a little more gory. I mean, it seemed like there was more of a
Mortal Kombat had the parental rating. Street Fighter did.
Yes, yeah.
And to Liz's point, when she said that Mortal Kombat should be PG-13, well, you're going to get that in Street Fighter. So,
yeah. So good stuff all around. I know. Next week, Tom, are you checking out a Scary Movie?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Is it next week or it's not June?
Oh no, it's the week after. It's June 4th. Okay.
I will. I have to check that out.
There's really no big movie launch this week. I know there's a horror movie.
I'm gonna go see Back Rooms though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also based on the game.
Yeah. Well, isn't it like creepypasta and then a game?
It's I don't know the terminology, but it's I've actually played a lot of those games. It's pretty creepy. So.
Yeah, it was an internet kind of memey thing that turned into a game.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's other
There's some
other
other small
money
stuff, but
laundering.
it's not till
You and your money
the
laundering.
weekend
So
of
funny.
the weekend of the 5th there that we get Scary Movie, Master of the Universe, and that's about it.
That's gonna bomb.
It's
You
it's
think
gonna bomb.
so?
It's gonna bomb.
You
Yeah.
think so?
But I got tickets to see it, but there is no draw for the
No.
film as far as stars and as far as the franchise goes. It's not
That's
leaning enough into the franchise. Plus Leto is attached, and Leto being attached to anything means it's gonna bomb. I mean, like
Well,
if you can name me something that Leto led coming out with that was
Stay
gaining more bucks at the theaters.
That's
you know?
fair. But I
It's
mean,
not
Morbius
good.
was good, right?
okay. Well, this is what I think. But they are doing a lot of promotion. I mean, they did Masters
Oh
of
yeah,
the
no,
Universe
they're
is
doing a lot.
amazing promotion. And my last comment is the popcorn bucket issue. So the popcorn bucket for Master of the Universe is supposed to be amazing. But what I think is really fascinating, and I'm surprised Tom didn't mention it, the popcorn bucket fiasco with Star Wars. First of all, the fact that I can still go get popcorn buckets and it is now day 4, day 5, because they've been available since Wednesday, I think is stunning.
But
And
they're
then
too
number
damn
2,
expensive.
and that's my next issue.
They're twice as much as the other promotional popcorn buckets, and then they have an at which is as much as the damn Herbie. So and that doesn't hold hardly no popcorn. At least the Mando helmet looks like it would hold popcorn. And the Grogu thing was cute. I just couldn't spend $50 on it.
And then on top
So
of that, the
I got
blanket was
up.
$30. The blanket was $30. And it's
Right.
like, who's buying a blanket for $30? When Super Mario Brothers did it right, because it came as a package deal to where you could get the blanket with the kids meal, and then you'd get all this extra stuff, and all of that was $20. The fact that you think you are going to get me to spend $30 on a blanket, then it's $40 for this helmet. The thing that trips me out is why they had what do you call that the beginning, what instrument was that? Like, what the thing in the beginning of the movie, I guess the ship that they were using as they were crawling through.
Yeah, the
$80. Okay, so that's $80.80.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't even know how much popcorn that possibly could hold, because it looked like it couldn't hold anything. And
they had regular tins. They had a
too.
regular popcorn, a metal popcorn tin. And all you had was a blanket for Michael. They could have sold so much stuff if they had believed in it, because Michael is now on pace to beat Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And
They didn't back Michael enough with
nope.
in theater, goods. They really didn't.
They
Top
didn't have
Gun.
the expectation. They didn't think it was going to be an $800 billion movie.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, and Top Gun is re-released, and all their popcorn buckets are gone.
And they had 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really disappointed at the whole Star Wars. This is the thing that angers me. I think have always angered me about Star Wars. They overprice all their stuff. And then by the time they discover that people aren't buying this stuff, remember we talked about it. What was it? Almost $1,000 for a for the lightsaber.
Lightsabers. Yeah.
They overprice their stuff so much so to the point that people can't afford to buy this stuff. We're in the on brink of a recession. Why would you charge people $80 for a popcorn bucket that doesn't hold popcorn, and then a blanket for $30? Like, it's disgusting, and that's one of my biggest gripes with Star Wars. And that's why all that stuff is sitting at this. It's sitting there, gonna collect dust. It's gonna go. They're gonna price it down, and people are going to eventually buy it.
But you just told on yourself. That's the whole point of having Grogu having such a prominent role in the movie, because it's almost like the merchandising idea is driving the premise of the movie as opposed to vice versa. where it was like an ancillary add-on to the movie experience, not the primary point of the movie experience. Yes, we went to see Star Wars and we saw the Ewoks, and the Ewoks maybe had more screen time than people liked, but they weren't the focal point of the movie. They were part of the third act. Here you have Grogu. He gets co-star billing, but he's actually the star of the movie, which is offensive. To your point, Liz, Mandalorian and Grogu. It's like Jimmy Walker taking over Good Times.
Well, it's interesting. There's an article that that Variety just released, and they were explaining how this film is going to make its money back, and it's not so much in the theaters that they're counting on this film making its money back. They're counting on this film making its money back through merchandise and through the experience, because already at Disneyland, they have now incorporated a Mandalorian and Grogu story into Smuggler's Run. They have put more Grogu dolls and paraphernalia and figures and the like on the shelves in that whole Star Wars land than they have now lightsabers out there or droids. Now it's just Grogu hats, dolls, animatronic things, and all the like, right? They're already counting on Grogu bringing in probably, I believe, this holiday some $13 million. So they're like, we're good. We're good. Grogu's going to sell. He's already selling. They've already got pre-orders for that that scale, that life-size scale Grogu that will be coming out, that walks, talk, doesn't talk, but it does all things.
2,000? How much is that?
Yeah, I think it's like 2,500. Yeah, no, seriously, no. I think it's like 2,500. I mean, this animatronic thing it's crazy. I mean, it may not be that much, but it's damn expensive. And they're already counting on it being the number one thing that's under the trees this holiday. So
I am not spending $2,500.
Okay, the Star Wars Ultimate Grogu Scale Premium Animatronic limited edition life-size replica, $600.
Oh, kiss my ass.
Yeah. Oh, please open my cheeks and kiss my ass. That's a no.
$600.
Bruh, you're this is absolute madness. Absolute madness.
Now, if it was actually Grogu, yes, I'd buy it. If it actually was Grogu, yes, good price.
And this is the thing that I'm surprised you guys didn't complain about. Grogu eats the entire movie. Like the man,
it's a running joke.
Stop eating.
It's a running joke. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, stuff like that is whack. All right, y'all. Next week we may have some stuff. We may not. Who knows? I forgot what's coming out. Oh no, you know what comes out this week? Spider Noir. The new Spider-Man series. Nick Cage.
Okay.
Yeah, that drops on Wednesday, the 27th. So we get us some new Spider-Man, which that series looks good, man. The latest trailers. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying we haven't talked about it this week, so we could talk about it next week since we don't have anything else coming out.
Booyah.
Movies.
There it is. We got Spider Noir and what'd you say, Liz?
Well, I'm just saying, like, since we didn't talk about Punisher this week, we could probably talk about
we
Punisher
talked
next
about
week
it
too.
already.
I know, but it's not over. Is it over?
Yes, it is. Let's call it one.
My bad.
One last
One shot.
My bad.
Not a kid every week. Just one.
Skip over it.
I love it.
Move to
I
something
love
else.
it. I love it. That was so good. All right, so we will catch y'all next week. Till then, take us out, Dr. Liz.
This is not the way.
Damn.
Yeah, damn. Mo Kelly.
Multipass.
McBain.
I'll suck your dick. I'll eat your shit live on TV. What do you want?
Wow.
Tom.
Where is my Beskar suit?
Excelsior.